The Deadites are the terrifying creatures that define the Evil Dead franchise, and what makes them unique is that they are not simply zombies or demons, but a twisted mix of both. These creatures are people possessed by malevolent spirits that can control both the living and the dead, distorting their bodies into horrible and grotesque forms. But where do these monsters really come from, and what makes them so difficult to eliminate? The answer lies in a cursed book, the infamous Necronomicon Ex-Mortis, also known as the Book of the Dead. This ancient tome is more than just a book. It is bound in human skin and written in blood, containing spells that can awaken the Deadites and the Kandarian Demon, who serves as their leader. Since its first appearance in Evil Dead lore, this demon and its army of Deadites have terrorized both characters and viewers alike, becoming an essential element of the franchise.
Naturo de monto.
In this video, we will delve into the dark origins of the Deadites. We'll explore who they are and why they have such a strong connection to the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis and an even more ancient race, the Dark Ones. According to legend, these are ancient beings who existed long before humanity. They ruled using dark magic, and at some point decided to create the Necronomicon to summon the Deadites and subjugate humanity. However, humanity was not destined to remain under the dominion of these beings. A prophecy foretold of the Chosen One, a human hero destined to free the world from the Dark Ones and their army of Deadites, with the aid of a powerful weapon, the Kandarian dagger, capable of harming these beings. The Chosen One managed to banish the Dark Ones to a parallel dimension. Depending on the reality in which this event occurred, they were imprisoned in either the Mirror Dimension or the Deadlands. But their influence never entirely disappeared, as the Necronomicon remained in our world, waiting for someone to open it and unleash the Deadites once more.
Look at this.
So join me as we uncover what the Deadites really are, where they come from, and some of the most fearsome ones in the franchise. We'll also explore what happened to the Dark Ones, their connection to the book, and the importance of the Kandarian dagger in this eternal battle between good and evil. The Deadites were first unleashed in The Evil Dead from 1981. It all begins when Professor Raymond Knowby, an archaeologist, discovered the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis in some ruins and brought it to a secluded cabin in the woods. By reading passages from the book aloud, Knowby accidentally unleashed an evil force that brought the Deadites to life, sparking a night of terror for Ash Williams and his friends. One by one, his companions, including his sister Cheryl, were possessed and transformed into Deadites who tried to kill him. Despite the hopelessness of the situation, Ash managed to survive and confront the monsters. In a final attempt to stop them, he threw the Necronomicon into the fire, weakening the creatures. However, the evil was not completely vanquished, leaving Ash vulnerable to future attacks.
Through recitation of these passages, that the demons are given license to possess the living.
It was the woods themselves. They're alive, Ashley. The trees. They're alive.
Ash, why don't I take her in the back room so she can lie down?
In Evil Dead 2, Ash once again faces the Deadites in the same cabin, where new horrors are unleashed after Ash plays additional passages from the Necronomicon. During this sequel, Ash is briefly possessed and experiences the iconic scene where he cuts off his own possessed hand, which then becomes an independent Deadite. Eventually, he manages to prevent total destruction by teaming up with Professor Knowby's daughter, who uses a lost page from the book to open a portal. This portal ultimately pulls Ash into the Middle Ages. The story continues in Army of Darkness, where Ash finds himself in a medieval era and is recognized as the Chosen One from the prophecy who will battle the Deadites. During his time in this period, Ash attempts to retrieve the Necronomicon. However, he forgets the words he must recite before taking the book, unleashing a new wave of Deadites.
Klaatu, Marauder.
This is where Evil Ash, a malevolent doppelganger of Ash, makes his appearance and leads an army of the dead in an epic medieval battle. With his wit and improvised tools, Ash defeats Evil Ash in the Deadite army, solidifying his role as the hero of the prophecy. Yet, he remains forever at risk of future encounters with evil.
Who rules? To you, my lord! You, sir! To the castle! To the castle!
In the series Ash vs. Evil Dead, the Deadites return when Ash accidentally recites passages from the Necronomicon while trying to impress a woman. This event unleashes a new wave of possessions and demonic creatures. The series delves deeper into the connection between the Deadites and the Dark Ones, revealing that these ancient beings are still seeking a way to return and dominate the world. Here, Ash faces new types of Deadites as well as the return of Ruby, a Dark One who seeks to control the Necronomicon for her own purposes. Ruby manipulates the Deadites and other characters to confront Ash, but he, along with his allies, fights the creatures with the same humor and bravery that define him.
Bad Ash. And you're good, Ash. You're a goody little two-shoes.
Evil Ash. Evil Ash is one of the most iconic antagonists of the Evil Dead franchise, particularly known for his appearance in Army of Darkness. He is a demonic doppelganger of Ash Williams, created when Ash faces many versions of himself, and one manages to enter his body. This results in the birth of a distorted and malevolent version of Ash.
Step away from the dead teenager.
I don't think so.
Evil Ash shares Ash's strength and skills, but is far more brutal, sarcastic, and purely evil. Unlike the original Ash, who has principles and fights against dark forces to protect others, Evil Ash is driven by chaos and power. His appearance resembles that of a Deadite, with grayish, decayed skin, a deformed face, and ruthless behavior. However, he retains Ash's arrogance and humor, mocking his counterpart and reveling in the chaos he creates. In the third installment of the franchise, Evil Ash becomes the leader of an army of skeletons and Deadites, forming the so-called Army of Darkness. His mission is to claim the Necronomicon for himself and destroy Ash and anyone who stands in his way. Under his command, the Deadites are organized into a formidable force, and Evil Ash proves to be a strategist in battle, using his power to lead this army in an epic confrontation against Ash and the human forces at Kandar Castle. During the battle, the Doppelganger is relentless, using his brute strength and skill with weapons. However, Ash manages to outsmart him by using his ingenuity and combat skills. At the climax of the battle, Ash uses a bag of gunpowder to blow up Evil Ash, disintegrating him and putting an end to his threat. Henrietta Nobi is one of the most iconic Deadites in the Evil Dead franchise, making her first appearance in Evil Dead 2. Before becoming a Deadite, Henrietta was the wife of Professor Raymond Nobi, the archaeologist who discovered the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis and accidentally unleashed evil by reading its passages. Henrietta became the first victim of the Kandarian Demon in the cabin, transforming into a possessed creature that would torment both her husband and Ash Williams. After being possessed, Henrietta took on a grotesque and terrifying appearance, with distorted features and a neck that could stretch to eerie lengths. Her behavior became sadistic and mocking, attacking anyone in the cabin while displaying a mix of dark humor and absolute terror. Unable to kill her, her husband chose to lock her in the cabin's basement, where Henrietta awaited her next victim. When Ash and Annie, who is Professor Nobi's daughter, discover the cabin, Henrietta is released and becomes part of one of the film's most memorable scenes, attacking Ash with her monstrous form and signature long neck. After an intense and grotesque battle, Ash ultimately defeats her using his chainsaw, severing her body from her elongated neck and ending her threat. Henrietta is remembered for her shocking transformation and as one of the first Deadites to showcase the franchise's signature blend of horror and dark humor. Her character has become a fan favorite and remains one of the most iconic figures in Evil Dead.
Free from all you titty-sucking parasites.
Ellie is a recently separated mother living in an apartment complex in Los Angeles with her 3 children. Her story takes a tragic turn when her eldest son Danny discovers a copy of the Necronomicon, essentially a grimoire of demonology and spiritual possession, in a hidden vault beneath the building after an earthquake. Unaware of the horrors he is about to unleash, Danny plays a recording of a priest reciting passages from the book, which releases the Kandarian Demon. The demon possesses Ellie while she is in the elevator. Once possessed, Ellie becomes a completely deranged Deadite, consumed by a thirst for violence and destruction. She brutally attacks her own children and neighbors, using her familial closeness to manipulate and terrorize her family, making her assaults even more shocking. She even tries to exploit her connection with her sister Beth and her children to catch them in moments of vulnerability. The Marauder represents the pinnacle of Deadite evil in Evil Dead Rise, and one of the franchise's most disturbing monsters. This entity emerges when the Kandarian Demon fuses the bodies of Ellie and her 2 children, Danny and Bridget, into a single grotesque creature after they have all been possessed. The 3 corpses combine to form a horrifying mass that uses the bodies and souls of its victims to create an even more powerful and monstrous form. The Marauder is a deformed abomination with multiple limbs, heads, and eyes, allowing it to move with unusual speed and strength. The creature is incredibly difficult to stop, as its individual parts continue attacking even when severed or destroyed. Ultimately, Beth and her niece Cassie manage to defeat the Marauder by throwing it into a wood chipper in the building's parking lot, shredding its parts until nothing functional remains. This act brings the nightmare in the apartment to an end and delivers a brutal conclusion to the Marauder, completely destroying it. The Taker of Souls is one of the most sinister and relentless Deadites in the Evil Dead franchise, appearing primarily in the 2013 film directed by Fede Alvarez. This demonic entity is summoned through the Necronomicon and manifests with unique ferocity and brutality, literally feeding on the suffering and souls of its victims. This creature is no ordinary Deadite. It is a high-ranking demonic entity, a sort of leader among the Deadites, and is invoked when certain rituals and sacrifices described in the Necronomicon are fulfilled. Its arrival is marked by a gradual transformation in its victims, who begin to suffer bodily deformities and lose their humanity until they fall under the demon's complete control. Unlike other Deadites, the Taker of Souls delights in prolonging its victims' suffering before fully consuming their souls, making it one of the most terrifying and meticulous presences in the franchise. In the 2013 film, the Taker of Souls possesses Mia Allen, a young woman trying to overcome her drug addiction. After an incident in the woods where she is attacked and possessed, Mia begins to exhibit the effects of this entity's possession, developing supernatural strength, a demonic appearance, and sadistic behavior. The demon manipulates her, making her violently and grotesquely attack her own friends in an effort to complete a ritual that would allow the Taker to fully manifest. The Taker of Souls follows a ritual involving 5 deaths to unleash its full power in the physical plane. Once these deaths are achieved, the Taker assumes a physical form known as the Abomination, a monstrous and grotesque version of Mia, filled with blood and hatred. The Abomination hunts Mia in a final sequence, filled with tension and violence as she fights to survive. The Abomination's appearance is a dehumanized version of Mia, emphasizing how the Taker of Souls consumes both the mind and body of its victims, turning them into dark reflections of themselves. Mia ultimately defeats the Abomination by using a chainsaw to slice its body in half, physically destroying the manifestation of the Taker of Souls. However, this entity is never truly destroyed, as its demonic essence remains connected to the Necronomicon, waiting for its next opportunity to be summoned. Candar the Destroyer is one of the most powerful creatures in the Evil Dead universe. Introduced in the series Ash vs. Evil Dead, Kandar is a demonic titan summoned as a final test for the Chosen One and an instrument of total destruction. This colossal monster represents the ultimate power of the Dark Ones. Its presence is devastating not only because of its massive size, standing around 20 meters tall, but also because every attack it receives only makes it stronger, rendering conventional weapons useless against it. Its mission is simple: destroy and consume, and nothing can stand in its way except the Chosen One. The battle against Kandar in the town of El Grove becomes complete chaos. The military tries everything to stop it, but every attack only strengthens the monster. To make matters worse, Kandar uses its power to turn the townspeople into Deadites, unleashing even more horror on the town. In the end, Ash realizes there is only one way to stop Kandar. Using the legendary Kandarian dagger, he devises a final, desperate plan to embed the dagger into a tank projectile and fire it directly into the heart of the destroyer. In an act of courage and sacrifice, Ash takes aim and fires, mortally wounding Kandar and simultaneously ending the threat of the Dark Ones. However, this act leaves Ash on the brink of death after the epic battle. The meat puppets are one of the most disturbing variations of Deadites in Ash vs. Evil Dead. Created by the demon Baal, these beings are skinned human bodies reanimated and used as mindless puppets, obeying only the orders of their creator. Unlike other Deadites, meat puppets have no personality or memories. They are merely tools of destruction, driven solely by Baal's brutality. These skinless beings, with exposed muscles and vacant stares, exhibit a ferocity unseen in other possessed creatures. Without skin, they are in a constant state of pain, though it seems to have no effect on them. They move relentlessly, no matter how many injuries they sustain. They can even continue attacking after being decapitated, making them incredibly difficult enemies to stop. The only way to defeat a meat puppet is to completely dismember it. While Ash and his team have faced many Deadites, meat puppets pose a particular challenge due to their resilience and speed. The Kandarian dagger is especially effective against them, ensuring they cannot rise again. Baal is one of the most cunning and powerful villains in the Ash vs. Evil Dead series. As a high-ranking demon and a member of the Dark Ones, Baal stands out not only for his brutality, but also for his ability to manipulate and deceive humans, creating chaos in far more psychological and calculated ways than other Deadites. In the series, his intelligence and charisma make him one of the most dangerous opponents Ash has ever faced. Beyond his control over the dead, Baal also possesses shape-shifting abilities, allowing him to deceive and manipulate his enemies by taking on the appearance of people close to them. This enables him to play with his victims' minds, sowing doubt, creating conflict, and exploiting their emotional weaknesses. Additionally, he can generate illusions that disorient his enemies, driving them to act in ways they normally wouldn't. This combination of physical and psychological abilities makes him a formidable and difficult foe to confront. As one of the Dark Ones, Baal has a special connection to the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis. His goal is to reclaim control over the book and unleash its power on Earth, which brings him into direct conflict with Ash, who seeks to stop Baal from carrying out his plans. The battle between Ash and Baal is both physical and psychological. Baal uses all his manipulative skills to try to break Ash, attacking his insecurities and questioning his role as a hero. However, despite Baal's mind games, Ash demonstrates his resilience and faces the demon in an epic final showdown, wielding the Kandarian dagger. After a hard-fought battle, Ash succeeds in defeating Baal, temporarily putting an end to his threat. The demons spawned in the Ash vs. Evil Dead series are unique demonic creatures, created as part of the legacy of Ruby, one of the Dark Ones. These beings are hybrids, a combination of humans and demons, with traits and abilities that make them formidable threats. The demons spawn are Ruby's children, born from her dark powers and her knowledge of the Necronomicon. Unlike common Deadites, the demon spawn are more self-aware and have a more human appearance. though they are filled with malice and possess demonic abilities. Instead of being merely possessed by an evil spirit, the demon spawn are unique entities conceived as extensions of Ruby's will. Each demon spawn has superhuman strength, agility, and the ability to regenerate, making them extremely difficult to kill. Additionally, they can use shadows to stalk their victims and set up ambushes, appearing in unexpected places and using their surroundings to their advantage. In some cases, the demon spawn even demonstrate the ability to manipulate human emotions, exploiting their enemies' weaknesses to cause psychological chaos. Some demon spawn also have specific abilities that make them stand out. These powers vary depending on the purpose Ruby assigns them, ranging from manipulation to advanced combat skills, making them highly adaptable adversaries. Ruby creates the demon spawn to be her loyal allies, but in an unexpected twist, these beings end up rebelling against her. As conscious creatures with a degree of autonomy, some of the demon spawn begin to question their mother's authority and seek their own independence. Demon spawn are not easy to eliminate. While they are resilient, they can be mortally wounded with the Kandarian dagger. Additionally, like many other demons and Deadites in the Evil Dead universe, dismemberment and attacks with powerful weapons can reduce their capabilities and, in some cases, destroy them completely. However, their regeneration abilities and cunning make them dangerous opponents until the very end. Eligos is one of the most enigmatic and terrifying demons featured in Ash vs. Evil Dead. Though a lower-ranking demon in the hierarchy, he displays considerable power, particularly in his ability to manipulate the minds of his victims. Unlike other Deadites, Eligos is more calculating and twisted, using illusion and deception to sow chaos. He is a humanoid being with grayish skin, an elongated head, and seemingly no eyes. His distorted figure reflects his skill in manipulating perception and toying with the minds of his victims. Eligos is not a demon that seeks direct physical combat. Instead, he prefers to use his illusionary abilities to manipulate those around him, driving them into a state of psychological terror. He can project horrifying visions into the minds of his victims, deceiving them to the point where they can no longer distinguish between reality and hallucination. These illusions are often so vivid that they push people to desperation or even self-destruction. Additionally, Eligos can teleport short distances, allowing him to surprise his enemies, attack, and vanish quickly. Defeating Eligos is no easy task, as his ability to manipulate minds and teleport makes him incredibly difficult to pin down. However, Ash manages to outsmart him, shooting him at the precise moment he materializes in front of him, putting an end to this terrifying demon. The Dark Ones are an ancient and powerful race in the Evil Dead universe, shrouded in mystery and representing absolute evil. These beings are neither fully demons nor fully human, and once ruled the Earth, using dark magic and an army of Deadites to subjugate humanity. Although they were ultimately banished to another dimension, the Dark Ones remain a threat as their legacy continues through the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis and creatures like the Deadites and demons. The Dark Ones are interdimensional entities of unknown origin, but they are known to have existed since time immemorial, long before human history. They were powerful beings with supernatural abilities, capable of manipulating realities and wielding dark magic. In many depictions, they are described as almost godlike entities, often compared to the ancients from H.P. Lovecraft's myths, due to their forbidden knowledge and destructive intentions. During their dominion over Earth, the Dark Ones ruled through black magic and demonic creatures. They were the creators of the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis, a grimoire bound in human skin and written in blood. This book contained powerful spells and rituals, including those that could summon the Deadites, who served as soldiers for the Dark Ones. With the Necronomicon in their possession, the Dark Ones controlled the world, spreading chaos and darkness, and used it to summon other dark entities to expand their influence. Eventually, humanity began to rebel, and with the help of the Kandarian dagger, they managed to harm and even destroy the Dark Ones. With this weapon, the Chosen One and their allies were able to confront these beings. Ultimately, the Dark Ones were banished to an alternate dimension, referred to as the Mirror Dimension, or the Deadlands. However, despite their banishment, the Dark Ones have not completely lost their influence. Their legacy persists through the Necronomicon, which can still summon Deadites and other malevolent entities. Additionally, some of the Dark Ones, such as Ruby, have managed to escape their prison and return to the world of the living, seeking to restore their power and regain control. These entities possess abilities that defy human comprehension, such as reality manipulation, spell creation, and immense physical resilience. However, they do have some known weaknesses. The Kandarian dagger is one of the few objects capable of harming them. In some universes, they can also be injured or defeated with conventional weapons, provided they are in a more vulnerable or humanoid form. The Dark Ones represent the root of all evil in the Evil Dead universe, as they are the creators of the Deadites, the Necronomicon, and many of the horrors Ash and his allies face. Their presence adds depth to the franchise, showing that the battle between good and evil is far older and more complex than it seems. With their return always looming and a constant threat of unleashing their horrors upon Earth, the Dark Ones symbolize ancient, primordial evil in the saga, a reminder that the power of the Necronomicon and the forces of darkness are never truly under control. The Kandarian Demon, also known as the Force or the Evil Force, is one of the most sinister antagonists in the Evil Dead franchise and the leader of the Deadites. This demonic entity is not just pure evil, but also the living spirit of the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis. Although it rarely manifests in a clear physical form, its presence is felt as an invisible force that stalks and possesses those who accidentally invoke it. It emerges when someone recites the forbidden passages of the Necronomicon, unleashing its power into the world of the living. Once released, the Kandarian Demon manifests as an ethereal presence, capable of moving through the forest as an invisible gust of wind, stalking and possessing its victims. The Kandarian Demon possesses a terrifying combination of abilities that make it a formidable enemy. It can possess both the living and the dead, transforming them into sadistic and cruel Deadites. It is capable of manipulating its victims' perception, inducing visions and hallucinations to weaken them. As an invisible force, it can move objects, break down doors, and drag people, demonstrating immense power without needing a physical body. However, it sometimes assumes grotesque and tangible forms, such as its manifestation in Evil Dead 2, where it appeared as a deformed and sinister giant head. With a repertoire of abilities that make it nearly indestructible, facing it requires special rituals and weapons, though defeating it definitively remains nearly impossible. The Kandarian Demon was first invoked in the franchise when Professor Nobi accidentally read the Necronomicon's incantations. This act unleashed the Kandarian Demon and marked the beginning of the terror that would haunt Ash Williams and anyone who came near the book. Since then, the Kandarian Demon has relentlessly pursued Ash and his allies whenever the incantations are read or someone attempts to use the book. As the leader of the Deadites, the Kandarian Demon controls them as extensions of its will. Its relationship with the Necronomicon is crucial, as the book serves as the medium through which it can return and spread its influence in the world. The Deadites it possesses act as its servants, attacking anyone who tries to destroy or seal the book. Throughout the franchise, the Kandarian Demon has shown that it seeks not just to cause destruction, but also to ensure that the Necronomicon remains in the world, allowing it to be summoned again and again. Throughout the movies in the series, Ash confronts the Kandarian Demon on multiple occasions, each time attempting to destroy the book or seal away the evil it represents. Despite Ash's efforts to put an end to the Kandarian Demon, it always finds a way to return, proving that it is an unstoppable force that can only be temporarily contained. In summary, the Deadites are the essence of terror in the Evil Dead franchise, a unique blend of demons and zombies under the control of the Kandarian Demon and the Necronomicon Ex-Mortis. Their ability to possess both the living and the dead, their supernatural resilience, and their sadistic nature make them formidable enemies that defy any attempt at definitive destruction. With every invocation of the Necronomicon, the Deadites are reborn to remind us that evil never rests and that the fight against darkness is eternal. Hey, don't go just yet. If you enjoyed my video, I'd love to recommend another one for you to watch.